India is currently moving through a significant transition in its sports economy. Beyond its ancient traditional games, the nation is now focusing on the infrastructure and investment needed to host the world's most lucrative athletic events. This chart shows the projected scale of that shift. In 2023, India's sports tourism market was valued at nearly $11 billion, but experts expect that to surge to over $52 billion by 2033. Domestic talent is already hitting milestones on the track. Indian driver Kush Maini recently completed over 120 laps in a postseason test for the Alpine Formula One team, and he's already secured a seat in Formula 2 for the 2026 season. But there is one glaring contradiction. Despite this multi-billion-dollar market and the rise of world-class drivers, there is currently no Indian Grand Prix. It isn't for a lack of infrastructure. The Buddh International Circuit in Greater Noida is an 874-acre world-class facility built with $280 million specifically to meet Formula One standards. The track proved it could host the world's elite, running 3 successful races between 2011 and 2013, with Sebastian Vettel clinching a historic championship victory on this very asphalt. Then, the roar of the engines stopped. After just 3 years, Formula One pulled out of the country, and the circuit's gates were eventually sealed. The Indian Grand Prix didn't fail because of a lack of fans or a small market. It was silenced by an invisible force that has kept the starting grid empty for over a decade. To understand why the track sits empty, we must look back at its funding. In 2011, the JP Group built the circuit as a private venture, meaning they didn't have the direct government financial backing common in many other F1 host nations. This left them exposed to the specific legal definitions of the Uttar Pradesh state government, and that's where they hit a bureaucratic wall. Local authorities refused to classify Formula One as a sport. Instead, they officially labeled the Grand Prix as entertainment, and that distinction had massive financial consequences. Compare it to the 2010 Commonwealth Games, which were recognized as a sporting event and received significant state support and tax exemptions. By calling the race entertainment, the government denied the organizers those same exemptions. That single classification structurally undermined the race's ability to survive. Because of that classification, state-level entertainment taxes were siphoned off from ticket sales, reducing the revenue available to cover massive hosting costs. Then came the customs bottleneck. Teams like Ferrari struggled with intense paperwork just to import car components for the race weekend. The JP Group was already carrying $280 million in construction debt. Combined with high F1 hosting fees and the added tax burden, the financial situation became unsustainable. Formula One left India after 2013, and in 2020, authorities eventually locked the facility over unpaid land dues and fees. The Indian Grand Prix wasn't defeated by the competition on the track, it was suffocated in the offices of local tax collectors. Today, there is a new push to revive the circuit. The Indian sports minister recently visited the track, and the Adani Group is exploring a possible acquisition of the facility. One major hurdle has been removed. India's new GST regime has unified the tax structure, effectively eliminating the old state-level entertainment tax issues that originally killed the race. However, Formula One itself has recently stated that an Indian return in 2027 is not realistic, citing the complexity of organizing modern races. The current reality of the F1 calendar is strictly capped at 24 races, with no vacancies. To even bid for a spot, costs have skyrocketed. Modern hosting fees reportedly range from $70 to $150 million per race. India is now competing with wealthy nations that are willing to pay those exorbitant fees and fast-track any bureaucratic or logistical hurdles. Having world-class infrastructure is only half the battle. Without synchronized government policy and sustained financial backing, a track remains just asphalt. In Formula One, surviving the business is often harder than the race itself.